roar. Iracing's calling, we're ready for more. Virtual tracks and the thrill of the chase. Get your game face on, we're setting the pace. With every turn and every dive, the tension is soaring, we're feeling alive. Strapped in tight as we hit that green light. This is the moment we've waited all night. Maconi's on fire, countdown to blast off. The show's about to start, can't wait to hear you scoff. From the virtual pit to the roaring crowd cheer. iRacing's here, let's make it clear. From road courses to dirt tracks so wide, we're bringing you action like a wild ride. With every lap, hearts pound like drums. And when the flag waves, you know victory comes. So grab your crew and turn up the sound. Maconi Entertainment's breaking new ground. Feel that adrenaline rush through your veins. This is our moment, let's break these chains. Maconi's on fire, countdown to blast off. The show's about to start, can't wait to hear you scoff. From the virtual pit to the roaring crowd cheer. iRacing's here, let's make it clear. So grab your crew and turn up the sound. Maconi Entertainment is breaking new ground. Feel that adrenaline rush through your veins. This is our moment, let's break these chains. Maconi's on fire, countdown to blast off. The show's about to start, can't wait to hear you scoff. From the virtual pit to the roaring crowd cheer. iRacing's here, let's make it clear. In just a few moments we'll take you away to a world of speed where legends will play. So don't blink now, don't miss a beat. This is Maconi magic, we bring the heat. So buckle up tight as we start this thrill ride. Maconi Entertainment, join us for the stride. The show's just moments away, feel that race ignite. With iRacing on deck, it's gonna be a night.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. And I'm feeling good.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's coverage of Goat Locker Racing INVETS Sunday Series here on Maconi Entertainment. The fall season of this league is wrapping up as this is round number 14 of 15. I cannot believe we are almost at the end. It has been going by so fast. These drivers have been putting on some awesome racing, and we are excited to be bringing action from tonight's virtual Pocono Speedway. And this track is a hometown favorite for me, and I'm excited to be here. My name is Jeremy Briggs, and alongside me tonight is Brayton Laster with DJ Lyon in the production room working on the controls to give us some great racing views tonight of this awesome racing we are going to have in Brayton. We've got 50 laps here tonight at Pocono, a lot of racing. These trucks are going to be punching big holes down these straightaways, and there's going to be some crazy action going into turn one and just all of these tunnel turns because there's going to be so much drafting.
Yeah, it's one of the longest tracks on the schedule as far as the oval side of things goes. Here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, kind of in the middle of the mountains here, northeast side of the state, 2.5 miles, degrees. The corners are about 6, 8, and 14. Each corner is resembled or made after a famous racing corner at another track across the country. So this track, though, definitely a long one. You don't have to draft like the other 2.5 miles like Daytona, like Talladega. As far as pack racing goes, the draft, though, will be a huge part of tonight.
Great look from our Google Maps there. As you can see, the track information right there on your screen. Long Pond, Pennsylvania, of course. And this is going to be great as we take a look at our points, our round of 8. David Duke, Ben Stevens, Chance Taylor, and Michael McCarthy are the ones currently above the line. Colton Lanford, George Jewell, Tyler Justice, and Kadorian Davis, the 4 drivers on the outside looking in, as this is the final race to get yourself in to that championship 4 race at Atlanta. Boy, that's just 1 week away. It's going to be some exciting racing there as well. But tonight, we are ready to race here at Pocono. As we look at our season 1 schedule, you can see started all the way back in September at Talladega. Worked our way all the way up here to the round of 8 last week at Iowa Speedway, and this week at Pocono Raceway. Season, like I said, just flying by here on Maconi Entertainment. Drivers right now are out and qualifying, trying to get that Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award. We'll see if anybody has anything for David Duke. Has been pretty dominant all season long.
Yeah, a handful of wins there for David Duke and one of their more recent playoff drivers to win. Of note, no playoff driver won last week. Andy Kutch took the checkered flag at Iowa. So all 4 playoff spots are still up for grabs tonight, but David Duke currently the favorite to lead those drivers into the final 4. Fastest in practice, going into qualifying. We'll see where he ends up in qualifying. And I think as far as points goes, he has a pretty comfortable cushion going into the night as well.
As we get ready to see some awesome racing action here tonight, we'll talk about Lincoln Tech real quick. One of the sponsors throughout Goat Locker Racing. Lincoln Tech's mission is to provide superior education and training to students for on-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They're one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses. They are the title sponsor of the Fall Series and a very large partner of Goat Locker Racing across all their series. One thing I really like about really love about Goat Locker Racing is giving back in the real world environment, and Lincoln Tech is one of those partners that helps make that happen. And like we said earlier on, these drivers are out here trying to get that Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award. Jam Printing and Promotions, located in Plainfield, Indiana, is a local veteran certified. And when we do well, we can do more in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed to printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning. They provide Goat Locker Racing with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, and you name it, Jim, is Goat Locker's go-to promotional company. They are sponsoring the pole award across all of the series, and as we speak, the pole award is locked in.
Came down to a couple hundredths of a second, but Pocono throwing all kinds of tricks at us here at the Tricky Triangle. We'll see how they line up tonight, Jeremy.
That Jim Printing Promotions Award here in the Sunday INVETS Truck Series Goat Locker Racing. David Duke once again up top. Barrett Morton there in second. Third belongs to Martin Cofield. Fourth, give that to the number 04 of Scott Gilroy. The fifth position goes to number 37 of Jacob Lenke, with sixth going to the number 24 of Benjamin Stevens. Seventh belongs to number 3 of Michael McCarthy, with eighth belongs to number 14 of Chance Taylor. Rolling off ninth is a 25 of Colton Lanford, and 10th is the 51 of Kadorian Davis.
Andrew Player, driver European Town speed out this season, rolling off in the middle of the pack there in 11th. 5th, Adams to hit outside in 12th. Bobby Germain in 13th. Jeremiah Holt going to try and find a little bit full of speed there, moving right through the field, rolling off 14th. Charles Abert there in 15th. Tommy Limley in 16th. George Jewell in 17th. Brandon Wallace in 18th. You know, that driver taking time is Ricky Stiss Jr. in 19th. Two drivers not taking time, including last week's runner-up, Jeremy Gardner, rolling off 20th with no time taken, is on the starting grid, and Eddie A. Smith, no time for him as well, despite being top 5 in practice. He's rolling off last, shotgun on field in 21st.
21 cars here set to do battle here at the Tricky Triangle of Pocono Raceway. Excited, look at how big this track is, extremely big. It's one of the biggest tracks on the circuit. I mean, it's almost, in my opinion, a super speedway. They just add a little bit more banking to these turns.
The highest banking we see here is turn 1, 14 degrees, inspired after the now defunct Trenton Speedway. So I know that's definitely a fan favorite from a lot of drivers, and they're going to be picking up probably their fastest speeds going down the front straightaway there, having a draft, having that 14 degrees of banking to carry them into the corner. That's also where we see a lot of action happening. But the field is rolling, and David Duke getting ready to lead the field through 1 and 2 under pace lap here. And a question for you, Jimmy, real quick. How many corners are we calling Pocono here?
Turn 3, there'd be 3 would be the answer according to
Pocono. Are we
Pocono.
going with 3 turns? Is that what we're going
Yep,
with?
if you look there in the distance here on the broadcast, you can see it says turn 3 of Pocono. So we're gonna go with the Tricky Triangle of 3 turns.
What turn 4? Am I right?
Exactly, what turn 4. I enjoy camping here at Pocono. We got to stand in the tunnel turn this year for a few laps during the Cup Series, and it doesn't look that steep here on the sim or on TV, but in real life, man, just watching those cars just boogie through those turns, it's absolutely incredible how they make it stick, especially going up and over that tunnel. It doesn't look that dramatic in real life or on TV, but in real life, it is quite the ride. And drivers are going to be prepared for it. That tunnel turn in turn 2 is extremely hard to be side by side, getting ready to come down this short chute.
Yeah, you're going to have to be brave through here. Turn 2 inspired after Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Also known as the tunnel turn. Tunnel goes under there in turn 3 right here. 6 degrees of banking, relatively flat, just like Milwaukee Mile.
Coming out of what we would call turn number 3, 50 laps the distance. 1 pit stop would be required down that pit road at 55 miles an hour. Pace truck, lights are off, makes the hard left-hand turn. David Duke, Barrett Morton, green flag is in the air. The semifinal round of the Sunday INVETS Series is underway here at Pocono on Maconi Entertainment. Look at those trucks fan out through turns 1, just through turn 1 and down this long pond straightaway. Everybody trying to get it figured out where they want to be. This will be extremely tight action for 4th on back as they're almost 3 wide for that position.
David Duke leading the field though. Got a mirror full of Barrett Morton, the driver from Louisville, Kentucky, in a 61. Barrett, actually a driver I've had the honors of racing against in real life in the short track scene here around the Midwest. I think me and him might have wrecked once or twice. We might have tangoed in the back there, that they're doing so in the back of this field. Everyone able to sort it out, but they are 2-3 wide across the line. And this is getting real heated up between a couple drivers, Chance Taylor, Michael McCarthy, and one other driver, Jacob Linke. You're making contact going into turn 1, still 3 wide. Still trying to figure it out. Linke on the bottom, trying to hang on. I think we 4 wide for a split second there.
Ooh, Condori Davis right there in the middle, getting sandwiched between the 18 of Andrew Player, and I believe that's going to be the 14 of Chance Taylor. He's going to bail out of that situation real quick. He knows he wants nothing to do anything with that. These drivers are putting on one heck of a show here early on. I can't believe they're making 3 wide work to these turns. I believe Scott Gilroy had a little bit of wall contact out of turn 3 last time, going on the front straightaway. That kind of bottlenecked everybody else through up the field. Kind of all got a big run there and put them 3 wide, but coming around to complete lap number 2, David Duke still our leader.
Well, Manford goes for the crossover block and at 25 on the 51 of Davis. Manford now looking inside of Jacob Linke at 37 as Andrew Player gets momentum and pulls away from the 3 of those drivers. And behind Andrew Player is a field of players right here trying to work their way. One driver, that's Linke, gets shot up the racetrack and loses a ton of time, a ton of spots off of turn 1. There goes George Jewell and Jeremy Gardner around them. They're going to be 3 wide with Cliff Adams in the 98. Here comes the 30 of Eddie A. Smith.
There was a car that was inside there of the Lincoln machine. Who's going to get into the marbles now? Up too high. Going to find some wall contact. Going to pretty much put himself all the way now to the rear of the field. Hopefully his tires are cleaned off here into turn 3 because whew, he's got his hands full. He's going to back himself all the way up to 20th position.
Oh, here we go.
Big wreck. Big wreck in front of him.
Huge wreck, 5, 6, 7 trucks involved. Charles Aber, George Jewell with damage, Eddie A. Smith, a couple others, Ricky Sisk Jr., heavy right rear damage for him. Brandon Wallace in the inside wall, Linke as well. Jeremiah Holt stopped by the outside wall, and that's just to name a few of them. And I don't know if that was caused by Linke fading and fading fast. I don't think it was happening further up the field, but we're going to get the Maconi Entertainment replay here and see what happened.
Drivers, oh man, do have a fast repair. As you see, Linke was involved in that. I'm not sure how much contact he got involved. I see the number 7 truck there, Charles Albert involved. Looks like it happened just in front of Linke, and he was trying to check up. A little bit of contact there with the number 12, so with Ricky Sisk Jr., so hopefully not too bad. But these other trucks here, the 30 there on the outside of Tommy and Lemley, the 73 truck of Jeremiah Holt. Oh, you can see it. Oh, yeah, Holt straight nosed into that wall. That's going to be a fast repair for sure.
George Jewell there in the 36 gets into the left rear, Jeremiah Holt. And that is what causes the entire thing. See the contact there between Holt and Jewell, and like a diamond gone cloudy. Not very shiny, not very clean. Tommy Lindley involved. There gets in the back of them at that point. Eddie Smith, Brandon Walsh, Ricky Sisk. Sisk and Walsh got away with minimal damage riding on board there with the 87 machine of Eddie A. Smith. Heavy front end damage for that.
Andrew Player talked to that one as well. That number 18.
Yeah, some drivers did a good job just minimizing damage. Just spun up to the inside, Sisk and Walsh of those. Front end damage like Eddie Smith got, it's not catastrophic, but tracks like this for downforce is crucial, and aerodynamics almost play as much of a role here like you would at Daytona or Talladega. You know, you want to have a clean front bumper.
You want to have an absolutely perfect truck around this track, lap after lap, like you said. Huge downforce dependent track, and you mess up, you crank off one of those fenders and you're just going to have so much more drag, because these trucks are built to be absolutely perfect at a track like this. One little dent in your bumper can really put a dent in your run. And one thing I do want to mention, there is a lot of rubber here on the Pocono track, and you saw Jacob Linke got into those marbles in the tunnel turn and had no traction. Oh, as we got drivers deciding they want to take a pit stop here. Looks like Andrew Player on back.
Might be some repairs, might be some tires. They do have a couple sets, 3 sets to be exact, in the pits waiting for them. See if any of those drivers will lock them up, trying to get away from trouble minimize damage. It's going to take a new set. Some drivers are putting their fast pair, others put tape on the front nose and seeing that fixes it. I'm not seeing any jack stands or jacks go under the cars or trucks. One driver is taking tires. It's going to be the 36 of George Jewell. Their initial contact there, taking at least right sides. Crew moves on the left side. Jack's left side up there in that 36. So 4 tires for George Jewell, and the only driver as now to take new rubber. 5 laps, now 6 into this event.
Looking at time and scoring, looks like Cliff Adams, George Jewell, and Jeremiah Holt right now drivers to use up their one and only fast prepare 6 laps into this event. So we're going to want to make sure they're extremely careful here on out. Early on, that was a unfortunate incident to happen there. There was a lot going on, a lot of coming and going there, especially when Jacob Blinky kind of just got up in those marbles and everybody was just trying to turn left to avoid him. So not anything Jacob Blinky did, but it just kind of seemed like everybody up in front of them were just kind of all bunched up from just everything going on, and everybody was trying to avoid everybody, and unfortunately you can only do it for so long. As we are here for the Sunday INVETS series, let's talk a little bit about INVETS. The INVETS was founded by veterans, for veterans, agent transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit here in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to the state to live and work. They are the obvious title sponsor of the Sunday Truck Series, and we are so glad to have INVETS a part of everything that Goat Locker does as well. A lot of great support for veterans in Indiana here tonight being represented.
A great organization there. They do a lot for veterans. Now, obviously, Goat Locker Racing being a very veteran-oriented league here tonight, doing a lot for the community, not just locally but regionally. INVETS as well. They do a lot for racing. I know they do a lot on the IndyCar side of things as well. It's nice to see them being represented and helping out in the real-life racing, the sim racing tonight. As it's going to be once again David Duke, a new contender up front. Benjamin Stevens passed Barrett Morton there in that quick 3-4 lap run to steal second. So it's going to be David Duke and Benjamin D. Stevens here on the front row.
As the field is doubled up down the back straightaway here, coming through the tunnel turn, pace truck lights are off. We'll be coming to the green flag this time out of turn 3. As you look down the bottom of your screen, you can see all those marbles up there up against the wall. Going to be extremely treacherous with that, as we were only 7 laps into this event, and it can get pretty treacherous up there. We'll see if it bites anyone tonight. Top 5: David Duke, Benjamin Stevens, Scott Gilroy, Michael McCarthy. Your top 5. Mark Cofield, Colton Lanford, Chance Taylor, Jacob Blinky, and Jeremy Gardner rounding out your top 10. So a lot of racing left to go here. Going to be coming to 43 laps to go when we take the green flag, as David Duke will lead the field once that pace truck makes that left-hand turn, gets to the restart zone. Green flag will be back in the air for David Duke. See if we can get a couple more laps in this time around. David Duke can stretch out that run, as he's already got a great start to this advantage, as they are side by side for second, as the 61 of Barrett Morton with a better restart gets right to the inside of Benjamin Stevens, and Benjamin Stevens trying to battle back on the outside for second here out of turn 1.
Morton able to hang on to the inside line, but Stevens carries momentum off of turn 1, using all 14 degrees of the banking. And slingshot engaged, got the draft from David E. Duke, going to steal second down the short shoot here over Barrett Morton. Give it to Benjamin D. Stevens. And Barrett Morton's getting a back bumper full of Stevens there. I'm not going to repeat on screen, but it's a Stevens 2478 that I just passed, and then explicit there. So we will leave that one up for interpretation.
Up front, David Duke trying to stretch out his advantage, but as you can see, the draft still keeping the 24 of Benjamin Stevens within striking range. As you're right on board right here with Barrett Morton running in third. Lots of, you can see the back bumper of Benjamin Stevens. Just in front of Stevens there is David Duke out of turn one. This is almost a 3-car breakaway, about half a second breakaway from Mark Cofield there in 4th place in that number 97. Dallas Long Pond straightaway. Gonna be coming around to 9 laps completed. This time by, as you can see, Chance Taylor in that number 14 truck in the 8th position, just behind Jeremy Gardner. And the 04 of Scott Gilroy battling it here is Gilroy, Gardner, Lanford, and Taylor all battle it out for 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Of note, Lanford came in tonight below the cutoff. The first driver out, 6 points behind Michael McCarthy. McCarthy currently runs in front of him. Chance Taylor as well, the other driver right behind Colton Lanford. So 1 point separates these two, 1 spot separates them on track, side by side. Come through 1 and 2 that time. Taylor in the 14. Riding him right now to the driver that's inside, Andrew Player.
Andrew Player trying to take that position away. Brayton, only way to gain points on drivers in front of you is to be in front of them. We'll see if these drivers can advance to the championship for the ones who are on the outside looking in. Easiest way to do it in my eyes is just to win the race, but you know there is still a possible way to point your way in, and you want to capitalize and get yourself as far forward as you can, because you never know what can happen in this 50-lap event. As we have now completed 10 laps, 40 laps to go. We look at number 87 of Eddie Smith, currently running in the 12th position. Eddie Smith started in 21st, now up 9 positions, trying to get to the outside of Kadorian Davis in that number 51 money long machine. And that bright teal look all the way down to the wheels. Eddie Smith looking to get a good run to his inside of Kadorian Davis. He's going to shove it in there, see if he can make the pass. Davis will let him have it. Eddie Smith advances up into the 11th position, making that pass look easy. He can now set his sights on the Andrew Player, Chance Taylor battle in front of him.
Yeah, Smith got that front end fixed and damaged in that last rack there a couple laps ago, and moves his way up inside or outside the top 10 now. Remember, started dead last, 21st shotgun on the field, and moved up handsomely even after being involved in that wreck. Davis, though, continues to fall back a little bit, now in that 12th spot right behind Eddie Smith. Davis came in tonight, last driver in points, so those last 4 drivers are separated by only 1 point apiece. So Colton Lanford at 2032, then George Gould 2031, Tyler Justin not here tonight from what I can tell at 2030, and Dorian Davis at the very bottom at 2029. So all 4 of these drivers fighting tooth and nail for, you know, to get into that playoff cutoff line. Michael McCarthy, as they run right now, does hold that last spot.
That's good news for Kadorian Davis, with Tyler Justice not making it. Woo! Extremely tight side-by-side battle right there in front of him between Eddie Smith and Andrew Players. It looks like the 04 of Scott Gilroy, but getting wall contact a few times down these straightaways. Once again out of turn 3, just continues to slow down his momentum. Looks like he's just trying to drop to the back, let everybody get around him. He's going to pull off the track.
I'm not sure what happened there. Trouble though for the 04 of Scott Gilroy, parked for the night, running well inside the top 10, 7 to be exact, and that's a bad turn 2, hit the wall a little bit, must have broke from the right front, has taken it to the garage and parked it for the night. So top 5 qualifier Scott Gilroy is done early in this one, and I believe he'll be scored as the first DNF of the night.
Disappointing end for sure to a great start to his night. Like you said, starting in that top 5, starting in 4th. If we look at David Duke, awesome shot from the starter cam, put a 3-truck breakaway at the front. David Duke, Benjamin Stevens, and Barrett Morton battling it out for the lead right now early on. David Duke sets that pace with Benjamin Stevens within a 10th, giving David Duke all the pressure he can. Oh, Benjamin Stevens getting really tight off these turns. Hopefully he's not burning up that right front. See if he can hold on here.
Yeah, Barry Morton behind Stevens there in the 24, and riding on board with Stevens' hood cam as a back bumper full of David Duke and gets a little bit of right front fender full of the wall.
Whew, really pushing the issue right there.
Yeah, doing well. Barrett Morton close up a little bit, but not quite as close as this. This is as close as you can get here at Pocono without being side by side. It seems the draft is in full effect after the 24 Benjamin D. Stevens. Barrett Morton mentioned a little bit ago, racing against him and against his brother quite a bit there here in the Midwest in short track scene in real life, and might pull a short track hustle and a little bit of crossover move if you can get two birds with one stone here.
What a handful that the number 24 Benjamin Stevens just had off that turn. He is pushing extremely hard, trying to get around David Duke, because we know how hard David Duke can be to pass. He's trying to do it here early on while he's got the freshness in his tires, as we are now coming around to complete lap number 15. We've had one caution early on, a couple drivers involved, a couple drivers had to use their fast repair. As of right now, only one driver off the track. That's Scott Gilroy, who started in the top 5. Had a slight issue. Track temperature right now, only 89 degrees. I wouldn't say it's too bad, but it's probably definitely a little bit toasty with that sun on it. It's only a 74-degree air temperature, so I'm not sure how slick it is on that right front, but Brayton, you probably have a better idea how well 90 degrees of the track temp would affect these tires.
Yeah, definitely not the coolest in the road, but not the hottest in the road. No one seems to be struggling with rear grip too much. Obviously can't overstep it, as Barrett Morton is struggling all around with front and rear grip. For the guys right behind him, the 37 and 36. This is a battle for 12th, 13th, and so on, so forth. We got Lenke there in the 37. George Jewell trying to make a move there in the 36. Makes a move, seals the deal, and closes the briefcase, pulls away from Lenke. A couple drivers now trying to get around Lenke as well. Here comes Cliff Adams there in that red number 98. Field filler back bumper, trying to fill the mirror full of George Jewell. He's going to get around Lenke and fill that rear view mirror of Jewell. Bobby Germain also in this battle, and we got still 4 car back here, all battling for 12th and 13th.
Jacob Lenke in that 37, another one of those drivers that started in the top 5, having a struggle here early on. Got a little loose in the tunnel turn 1 early on, and unfortunately got caught up in that early wreck. Trying to rebound from that as we look side by side here through that tunnel turn. You got the Mike McCarthy 3, the 97 of Mark Cofield. Mike McCarthy makes that pass, so to put him into the top 5 in 5th position now. This is the 97 of Mark Cofield. Oh, gives him a little bit of bump there through turns 3. Not sure if there was something that he felt, or maybe just had a good run and was trying not to lose it, but unfortunately grabbed a little bit of bumper. Maybe got out of the gas. Lost a little bit of ground right there, but still 33 laps to go. A lot can happen. You can see right now, these drivers are a little strung out. You see Jeremy Gardner in that 42, trying to get into the podium position right now, battling side by side with the 61 of Barrett Morton down the back stretch into that tunnel turn. We'll see if Jeremy Gardner can complete that pass here to a tunnel turn.
Remember, Gardner started all the way back in 20th, so he's worked right up through his field. He saved his tires and makes the move around Barrett Morton there for 3rd. So, Jeremy Gardner, give it to him. Trying to hang on to the last podium position. Jeremy Gardner lost speed this season. Driver always fun to watch, and currently trying to chase down Benjamin Stevens and David Duke.
We'll see what kind of lap times Jeremy Gardner can put down.
It's been a while since Gardner's gone back to victory lane. You gotta look all the way back to September 22nd. Sorry, September 29th. Jeremy Gardner there went to victory lane at Las Vegas. 5th race of the season. So it's been 9 or so weeks, 9 or so races of defeat and heartbreak for Jeremy Gardner. Looking pretty solid here tonight. That was his 2nd win. He won also back in week 2 at Texas. So 2 very draft reliant tracks. 2 very high bank intermediates, a little bit different game here tonight. As Benjamin Stevens go in front of them and David Duke are slugging at it, trying to see if Jeremy Gardner can run them down.
We'll get a good lap a good look at the lap times here for Jeremy Gardner. Now he's had some clean air in front of him right now. David Duke with a 55.52. Jeremy Gardner with a 55.61. So David Duke still has some pretty good pace with Benjamin Stevens on his tail. Maybe David Duke was saving a little bit of his tires, so now he sees these drivers on the hustle. We'll get a good look at this quick replay right here. We'll see the pass, I believe. There was a lap car incident here. Let's see how close it was.
It was a later lap car coming out of the pits, and as Menke comes out and blocks the line of David Duke. I don't know if Menke got a penalty for that. I'm not sure what the move was there. Andrew Player also came down pit road there as well, so I don't know if it's a pit stop. And then here comes everyone for fuel and tires.
Yep. Green flag stops are underway with Menke, like you said, coming out kind of right into the driver's way, but I think if you can come out, you can come out. You just got to be extremely courteous to the drivers around you, especially in an incident like that. You know, they're driving almost 165 miles an hour plus down these straightaways, and a lot can happen.
Yeah, Barrett Morton, 6'1", has stayed out to lead a lap. Said he's putting this time, though, as David Duke. He's able to lead them off pit road. You're having that first box. Drivers get really good pit stops. It's David Duke leading the field out, and Benjamin Stevens is side by side with Jeremy Gardner. Huge pit stop there for Jeremy Gardner on the 42.
Jeremy Gardner was wicked fast on pit road, a 40.6 on pit lane. Everybody else was a 41 plus, so Gardner gained a ton of time running great pit road speed there.
Get around Benjamin Stevens there. David Duke, though, huge pit stop for him. Able to get it handsomely away from these guys in second. Barrett Morton now down pit lane, concedes the lead to Eddie A. Smith. So driver that started 21st now leading the field. He's got a 2.5 second advantage over Cliff Adams and Brandon Wallace. All these drivers still have to pit. Let's see where he cycles out.
As we are just shy right now of the halfway mark of this race. A lot of strategies now underway. David Duke, we'll see how he transitions this time around back into the lead.
You know what just occurred to me, Jeremy?
Go ahead.
You look at these guys that are staying out here. These are all guys that were involved in the lap 3, lap 4 incident. They all came down, they all got full tanks of fuel. So most guys are only able to run 19, 20 or so laps. They might be able to go 24, 25, hit right at the halfway mark, and instead of it being a 2-stop for these guys, if it goes green, they don't have to stop that one time on lap 25, and they can coast and finish from there, cutting out a complete pit stop.
Great observation, Brayton. We'll see how it plays out as Eddie Smith is just one more turn away from coming around to 27 laps to go. 25 laps to go will be that halfway mark. See if Eddie Smith decides to cut this race right down in the middle by grabbing a top off of fuel early on. He'll come around to lead another lap with Cliff Adams there in second. Brandon Wallace is in third. Bobby Germain is fourth. Charles Ebert, running in fifth. David Duke, the leader going into the pit strategies, is running sixth. So top 5 trucks have yet to pit. We'll see what they do for this pit strategy and see if it actually works out and plays out. I like to see it. You know, you can't beat them by doing the same thing. You got to do something different, and we'll see if that early pit can help them benefit.
And the more and more this race goes on, the more and more these drivers get spread out, the more and more in favor it goes of Eddie Smith, Cliff Adams, Brandon Wallace, Bobby Germain, and Charles Abert's way. Riding on board here with Benjamin Stevens, trying to get around the 42. Jeremy Gardner with his off-track like will be the battle for second. That gray truck in front is David Duke. And Stevens are side by side with Gardner. Eddie Smith stays up for another lap. So he's going pit right at the halfway mark. He'll cross line when it becomes 25 laps to go. So Eddie A. Smith is currently in line for a great upset finish at the 24 there. Stevens big bobble off the corner in front of Gardner to make the move, make the pass. Able to hang on, but this is all lining up beautifully for Eddie A. Smith. The last thing these drivers want to see right now, though, is a caution.
Right now, it looks like Eddie A. Smith is still about 2 seconds slower than David Duke. I'm not sure if that's a tire advantage or if it's a drafting advantage there going on for David Duke, who now finds himself up into the 4th position as Cliff Adams and Bobby Germain come down pit road. Excuse me, Charles Abert. Excuse me.
Abert is in this time. Eddie A. Smith gets slow and slow. Their leader in right here, right now. This will be the official halfway mark as they cross the line. There's the line right there. Their halfway leader, Eddie A. Smith, and he is going to be able. He's going to be in a pretty good position here if this goes green. Hot press tires as well, because we won't really see the full effect of this about another 15 to 20 laps. So once David Duke and the rest of the guys on the one-stop strategy all come down for their second pit stop, Eddie A. Smith will go around them along with the rest of the drivers that stayed out, Wallace, Abert, and company. And from that point on, we'll see if they're able to hang on and have an upset, not only a win, not only podium, but an upset top 5.
That will complete the cycle of green flag pit stops here at the halfway mark of the semi-final round of the Sunday INVETS series of Goat Locker Racing. Take a look at that nice ticker at the bottom of your screen. Check out ways to donate to Goat Lockers Racing and any information down below that could pertain to tonight's race or next week's races will be down below, and it's a great feature to have. As David.
Awesome to see this great racing going on your screen. Well, you can become a part of it. Get 50% off brand new iRacing memberships today through January 5th. All you gotta do is go over to iRacing.com/Holloway sideways dash sale. iRacing.com. Get membership today. Great time to go to these beautiful, realistically scanned tracks. Today's just scanned tracks. I mean, the realism factor from the bumps to the banking, the icons, the markings on the wall to the trees to the outside is realistic. As a matter of fact, I saw that bird's nest right there. You know, outskirts there. Just a couple years ago. Sure, it's totally realistic. But go over to iRacing.com/holiday sale. Count today for 50% off consideration.
iRacing is a great tool. Just get the experience of being in a race car. I sometimes like using iRacing as a good spotting tool. Just get my eyes keen with spotting a race car. I try to keep it as realistic as I can, but some tracks it is pretty impossible. But no matter what you're looking for, even if you're a broadcaster and you just want to do broadcasting, iRacing is a good place to do it as well.
A great tool to get kind of experience with using for spotting. All my spotters I work with on the ARCA side, I was trying to get on iRacing. I'll work with them a little bit from that, where there's a track we're actually racing at. Like these guys here racing for second, 42 Gardner. Slide job, sends it on Benjamin D. Stevens. Stevens falls back to third, Jeremy Gardner back up to second. So Gardner there, podium finish for him last week, looking for another runner-up. I'm sure he'd love to break the streak there and get his first win in over a couple months.
Jeremy Gardner trying to put the heat on the David Duke machine. See if we can get some help there from that 24 to get a good run. As you're right on board here with the number 99 of Brandon Wallace, running currently in the 14th position. Brandon Wallace started in 18th. That'll put him up 4 positions from where he started. It's a good start to his race. A little bit of chaos there. I believe he was potentially involved in that incident early on. Now all over the back bumper of George Jewell.
On the alternate pit strategy, Eddie A. Smith though actually working his way back into the top 10, so not too bad for the driver on the alternate pit strategy. Actually one of the quickest cars on the track. He's got the drafts and then some. So Eddie Smith there cleaning the competition in this tide machine. It's not trying to eat the competition.
Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. I love with the number 51 of Dorian Davis, the last car into the top 10, running 10th position right now. You can see Andrew Player in the number 18 in front of him, running in 9th. Cliff Adams is running in 11th, finds himself 3 seconds back from Dorian Davis. You see all the action in front of them as Eddie Smith looks to make another pass, put himself in 7th. Only 9 seconds, 9.1 seconds back from the leaders. We'll see if he can make up a lot of ground, especially when those leaders have to pit. And like you said, coast to the finish. We'll see if that halfway mark pit gets him to the end.
Okay, if this goes to green, I think Eddie Smith and company are in great position to capitalize on that early caution, that early wreck. And we might be seeing a very rare feat from Eddie Smith driver going last shotgun on the field to winning the race. Smith not in the playoff, wouldn't take the bubble very much, but your top 3, even your top 5 drivers on the alternate pit strategy. Chance Taylor, 14 right here, has Eddie Smith right behind him. A lot new tires on Eddie Smith coming up, so I don't think Taylor will be able to hang on. But when you're one of those drivers, and literally one spot, 1 point is separating you from being in the final 4 next week. Not, that alternate pit strategy might be what you need.
See, Chance Taylor trying to fit out that faster truck of Eddie Smith, just under 2/10 out his back door. Jeremy Gardner, though, within striking range now, half a second to David Duke, pulling away from Benjamin Stevens. See if Jeremy Gardner can maybe give a little battle for the lead here for David Duke. Oh, Gardner really tight there to the middle. Whew. Really pushing it to the limit here, trying to do everything he can to get to David Duke. That last time by, he was 2/10 faster. Obviously, he does have the draft. Trying to make it happen is Eddie Smith now up 1 more position, but we look right here from the onboard camera from Jeremy Gardner. Reeling him in slowly but surely. Does he have enough tire to make this pass?
That's the closest he's been this entire race. Remember, he's all the way back in 20th within the top 10 from just a couple of green flag laps. Top 5, top 3, and just a handful after that. And yeah, lap 32 coming to 33. David Duke there is under threat of being passed by your last row starter, Jeremy Gardner.
As the lead battle is extremely tight now, just past the halfway mark, 18 laps to go, 17 and a half, if we want to be Jeremy's particular self here, 17 and a half laps to go. Oh, Gardner, a little bobble there through the tunnel turn, but still right there with that awesome draft. Look at this awesome shot through turn 3, ooh, right over the camera.
Oh, there goes a $5,000 camera. There will be invoicing.
Oh, David Duke comes to pit road. He knows he can't make it. He's gonna come and take care of it now.
That's gonna be his final stop of the race. David Duke, out of nowhere, doesn't want anyone else following in his footsteps. I don't really necessarily like the call. I think it's not gonna hurt him too bad, but he's gonna put a lot of laps on those tires. Looking at about 16, 17 laps on those tires, so it'll be a pretty long run there. This Steve is going to have to force Jeremy Gardner's hand. See what Jeremy Gardner does as he's now leading the field. At this point, though, I will say if a caution does come, David Duke is going to be in nice real estate as most of the field should come down. Then at that point, have their final pit stop on the caution, Duke will maybe stay out in theory, but that's just theory.
If they get those pit stops completed, Jeremy Gardner now takes his truck to his Lincoln Tech crew to get some service. Comes down the 55-mile-an-hour pit road speed limit. Eddie Smith, we'll take a look at his lap times. We'll see if how much they fall off. If he has to save any fuel to get to the end.
I think
Gardner gets to his pit.
I think Barrett Morton might realize the long run capability of him staying out and then hitting a couple laps and having a lot fresher tires and putting down some standing steamer lap times as he's staying out. Michael McCarthy, Eddie A. Smith, Jeremy Gardner there behind him. Morton comes down and pits, driver from Louisville, Indiana.
Gardner gets his services complete off pit road as we look at Michael McCarthy with that awesome victory paint scheme, bright number 3 on the side. Toyota on the front nose of that machine. Eddie Smith in that Tide Chevy is there. Yep, great shot. He couldn't miss that front nose of that Tide machine. Now making that left-hand turn, trying to make another pass. Himself one more position closer to the front is Eddie Smith. Good to go to the end. We will have to see. As he had pitted at that halfway mark, trying to go the distance.
Yeah, I think at this point Barrett might be trying to play the long game. David Duke knows what game he's in, and he's in the doing the caution dance game. Only way he's only going to be able to win this race is with a caution. This has completely thrown your playoff standings into a little bit of a whack. A couple drivers are already lapped down. Jacob Linke, Jeremiah Holt, Mark Cofield, and company. Michael McCarthy pitting now from second. But David Duke there is marred back in the top 10, 33 seconds behind your leader, and about 30 seconds behind Eddie A. Smith. Victory lane for the driver's been dominant most of the playoffs and most of this race. It's not looking likely.
You see Benjamin Stevens there still trying to get any position he can. Trying to get around that 78 of Duke. If this ends up being a pass, but not for the win, oh, the heartbreak for Benjamin Stevens is David Duke has been one of the most dominant drivers all season long. To just make a pass on him is a pretty big feat under green flag conditions. As we now look further through the field, looks like the 16 machine here. Excuse me, 61. Got my numbers all backwards. 61 of Barrett Morton.
Still staying now. I will say, doing the math, doing some quick number crunching, as Jeremiah Holt there going a second lap down. But that's going to give the draft to Eddie Smith there in that Tide truck behind him. So within a second and a half, and within a second or so of Holt, so as we get in that draft able to close up. Now driver down pit lane. I believe that's Cliff Adams there in 98. I was getting ready to mention number crunching, and Adams was one of those drivers on the alternate pit strategy, I believe. So we'll see if they're second guessing themselves, if that caution is going to hurt them. But over some pit stops Adams does there, it's definitely going to hurt you. So the fuel number, the fuel mileage might be off because they paced you on that extra lap, so you don't burn as much lap or as much fuel under caution. So Eddie Smith in second has ran down quite a bit of Barrett Morton now. Morton still staying out, but we'll see if Eddie Smith has the fuel to make it. I think it's going to be tight, Jeremy. I think it's going to be very, very tight. And I think Eddie Smith is going to try and find a parking lot near the start-finish line and start stopping some fuel as we get closer and closer to the finish of this race.
If his fuel is tight here, Brayton, if I'm Eddie Smith, my fuel is tight. There's 2 trucks in front of me that I can get as much drafting help as I can to save as much fuel as I can to try to get me through these final 11 and a half laps. Going down the tunnel turn once again. This tunnel turn is really awesome to see. It's an awesome feat of technology. It's crazy how awesome these tracks are when you get to see how big they are in real life. And Pocono Raceway is one of those tracks so far away the back stretches, and it's crazy when you're. I don't know how the real NASCAR spotters do it, because Pocono is definitely one of those tracks you're going to be looking through the binoculars. Barrett Morton's going to let the lap traffic go around him. David Duke still back here in 6th position, 27 seconds back from our leader. So even if he was a second slower up front, which I believe he is, you still don't have enough time to get to the leader. So if Eddie Smith could be saving any fuel here, he has a lot of buffer behind him. Speaking of Eddie Smith, now all over that back bumper, that 61.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. Maybe Eddie Smith knows he's going to run out and runs out of real estate there into the wall a little bit, but he's got the draft. He's full throttle and fully descendant on Barrett Morton on the 61, looking on the outside through turn number 3 here. He's got the momentum. He's got his foot on the gas. Barrett Morton dives off in the pit lane. The new leader across line, and we'll see how long he's able to hang on. It's going to be Eddie A. Smith. Of note, George Jewell. A bit of a playoff shakeup here. George Jewell came in tonight under the playoff cut line. He has parked it for the evening. Not sure if there was an incident, maybe a speeding penalty.
Gotta make 3
dived
trips.
in the pit lane. I think George Jewell got speeding penalty and decided to park it.
Schedule being off the list is what I meant to say there. As David Duke continues to try to make as many positions up as he can to get as close to that leader, who's going to be probably running on fumes to make it to the checkered.
Through that whole cycle, then Barrett Morton lost a ton of time to Jeremy Gardner, Benjamin Stevens, and David Duke. We are talking probably about 8 or 9 seconds, if not more, across that entire run. So Barrett Morton loses contention, although a caution at this point would be great.
Nothing beats 4 fresh tires. Even though it's Pocono, having as much grip as you can get through these turns is great. This has been some great green flag racing here for the Sunday INVETS series on Maconi Entertainment. David Duke, our Jam Printing Promotions Pole Award winner, is 24 seconds away from the leader.
Yeah, Jacob Lenke just came over the radio. He's behind your leader, Eddie A. Smith. Lenke says, I don't want to race you. I just really want my lap back. So this is not battle for the lead. 87, the Tide truck there. Eddie Smith, their leader. TV gives Jacob Lenke running on board now. First driver a lap down. TV gives him a lap back. We'll find out. It doesn't look like it.
But if Eddie Smith is smart and needs to save that fuel, this could potentially be what Eddie Smith needs to help him save those couple tenths of fuel, because we're at 8 laps to go here. As Lenke just peeks to the inside, doesn't make it just yet. Third place, Charles Ebert in that number 7 truck, who was involved in that wreck early on. Started in the 15th position, now up to the 3rd. That's 12 positions up. Having a pretty decent run here at the late stages. That different pit strategy. Can he stay in front of the trucks behind him to save enough fuel to get him off to a podium finish as Jacob Lenke goes to make the pass on our leader?
Yeah, Charles here, U.S. Army veteran coming down pit lane. I was going to say he's on the same pit strategy as Brandon Walsh and Eddie A. Smith, their leaders. He's going to dive down from 3rd. So, he's retired a couple of years ago from his service. On board with Eddie A. Smith, the leader. He does let Lenke go there. Jacob Lenke back on the lead. That man's broke on going to the wall there. Heavy right side hit to both Jacob Lenke and, more importantly, Eddie A. Smith. See if that hurts him. He's in the long haul and he's in the long wall here at Long Pond. See what happens though as everyone on the pit. I think he's pitting right here. He is coming down pit lane. Big shake up here. So the fuel run is going to come up just 5 laps shy. Brandon Walsh in 2nd. I think he might be pitting this time as well. Yes, he is. And gives the lead back to none other than David E. Duke.
Well, we're going to give that lead back to David Duke, but look out David Duke's rear view mirror. You've got 3 trucks, right? 2 trucks, trying to battle for that position, for that lead. Gardner, Stevens, right on the back bumper of our leader now, David Duke. Can Stevens get to the back bumper to maybe get him to wiggle up just a little bit? We've got 6 laps to go. We're going to have a heck of a battle to the finish here, Brayton.
And who would have thought the fuel strategy in the long run? Strategy does not work for Eddie Smith and company. Gets a lot of laps led, but last, the first challenge will not be completed here tonight. But how about the 6th first challenge? That's Benjamin D. Stevens riding on board with now. And that past blue ribbon. I don't drink, I'm not allowed to say that. But that's 20 for the PBR machine. convenient hold. And now, look on the inside though, looking for a personal best run here and maybe try and get a win.
That 97 truck just out their back bumper is a lap car of Mark Cofield. He's 2 laps down. So 97 truck, not a battle for position in this lead battle. But as you can see, David Duke, Benjamin Stevens, and Jeremy Gardner. Oh, Stevens is going to get loose in turn 1. He almost made contact there with David Duke. Gardner's going to crank it to the left. Uh-oh, Stevens going to be up with those marbles. Can he keep it off the wall and keep the momentum? They're going to be side by side. No, Gardner makes that pass happen. Wow, that was extremely close for these leaders wrecking in turn 1 there.
No,
5 laps to go.
Jeremy Gardner went to go check up for Stevens, and Mark Cofield there, the lap car on the 97, got into the left rear of Gardner. So you see Maconi replaying entertainment here, just a lot to break down. Stevens gets way loose, able to save it, come up the track, and Gardner and Cofield make a bit of contact, and it's going to be staggered 3 wide here for a split second as Gardner makes the move, coming off the corner, and trying to chase down David Duke. As far as tires go, I'm not exactly sure where everyone lines up at. I know Gardner has a little bit fresher rubber. I believe it's only by a lap or so compared to Duke and Stevens.
Yep, 13 laps on this stint right here for David Duke and Benjamin Stevens. Jeremy Gardner with only 12 laps. So 1 lap longer on that last run. I have 1 lap fresher tires on this end of the run. Is it going to pay off with 4 laps to go for Jeremy Gardner in that number 42? He is now setting his sights all over that number 78 of David Duke. This is going to be a heck of a battle as we're coming through the final turn on this track. Turn number 3, coming to 3 laps to go here at the tricky triangle. This is going to be a great battle. Look at these trucks, 3 of them battling here. That one truck, 97, is a couple laps down a lap truck. Gardner getting a big draft down this front straightaway, helping him get within striking distance. He's got to be careful though. We saw what happened to that number 24 of Stevens when he got close to 78. Got a little arrow loose, maybe going into turn 1, but guess what? The 42 is not having any problems getting down to the inside here. Going down tail turn, David Duke's going to block him. Gardner gets to his right rear quarter panel. He's going to back up the turn. We'll see if he can get to him on the exit.
All 3 of these drivers have 2 wins of the season. David Duke, the most recent, just a couple weeks ago at Richmond. For the others, they go all the way back to early October and late September. These 3, though, have been neck and neck the entire season. Ben Stevens, David Duke in playoff contention here tonight. Both drivers trying to punch their way into the finale, into the round of 4. 2 laps to go as they cross line, and it's David Duke, but he's got a miracle with that 42, Jeremy Gardner.
Jeremy Gardner getting that big draft down these straightaways, going 180 miles an hour into turn 1, holding onto that truck the best he can right here. Extremely aero dependent going through these turns. It can be a handful.
Fighting for a final 4 spot here. All the drivers very comfortably in. As far as they go, Benjamin Stevens, David Duke are neck and neck, 1 and 2, handsomely, comfortably well above that cutoff line. But going through the final corner here, seeing the white flag in the air, it's all going to be David Duke and Jeremy Gardner. Benjamin Stevens 2 seconds out back. It's going to be a drag race between these 2. Come to the white flag right here. David Duke leads Jeremy Gardner.
White flag in the air here on Maconi Entertainment, the Sunday INVETS Goat Locker Racing Truck Series. David Duke, our leader, trying to lock himself into that Final 4 race next week here on Maconi Entertainment as Jeremy Gardner gets a great run through turn 1. He's going to do his back bumper. He's going to try to look to the inside. Oh, heavy blocking there by David Duke. That's going to make Gardner upset. And if he gets back to his bumper, he's going to let him know. And I'm sure as we get ready to come through turn 2 into the tunnel turn, trying to get to his back bumper. Oh, he makes slight contact but does not spin him. As we're getting ready to get to turn 3, oh, Gardner gets to the outside of David Duke into the final turn. David Duke raises up into Gardner, gives him slight contact. Gardner gets back to his left rear. Oh, he's going to get David Duke into the wall. Gardner out of turn 3. It's going to be our winner here, the semifinal race of the Sunday INVETS Series League race.
Jeremy Gardner not in the playoffs, but plays playoffs for their first win in over 9 weeks. Goes to the 42 of Jeremy Gardner. David Duke crosses the line, limps across it, as a matter of fact, in second. And then Benjamin D. Stevens there, 4.7 seconds out back. Literally had to ride the wall, heavy damage to the right front of him in the last lap. He's going to bring it home third, rounding out your podium.
What a finish. Gardner was just a tick faster. Let's take a quick look at this replay of that final few turns. As Gardner got to his outside, David Duke ran him up just a little bit right there. Gardner then just cranked it left, got to the inside here of David Duke. David Duke trying to crouch him down, but Gardner makes slight contact. Duke trying to correct it and save it. Unfortunately, it goes up and into the wall. Just in that power slide mode, you cannot save it. And David Duke's chances for the win right there came to a crashing end as Jeremy Gardner drove to the checkered flag.
Heartbreak there for David Duke, absolutely dominant all night, but take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, see if we can get some interviews from some of these drivers and we'll go over some official results, and maybe, just maybe, we'll have their Final Four.
Everybody, Patrick here with Goat Locker Racing. We got the truck loaded up, getting ready to head north up to Muncie, Indiana. About an hour and a half drive. Get this sim rig in the hands of Josh Unger, our newest veteran that has joined the Goat Locker Racing family. Can't wait to get it in his hands. Folks, we just pulled up, so let's get this thing delivered. Alrighty, that was a whole lot of fun. Got the sim rig dropped off to Josh. He's as excited as could be. Got to meet his 2 boys, his wife, and everything. He's going to get everything set up and ready to race. So congratulations again, Josh. Welcome to the Goat Locker Racing family, and thanks to everybody that makes this happen. I want to give a special shout out to the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs and the grant they gave us to make this happen. INVETS, you guys are awesome. You are the ones that helped us identify this veteran and so many more. So stay tuned. We got more sim rigs rolling out, and be sure to follow us on all the social media and head over to our website, www.goatlocker.org. Take care.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And welcome back here to Maconi Entertainment's presentation of the INVETS Sunday Series broadcast. Boy, what a finish we just had there here at Pocono Raceway, Brayton. This is going to be a great interview we're going to have with our winner, Jeremy Gardner, who is our winner here tonight as we take a look at our INVETS Series results. Jeremy Gardner, our winner, David Duke, who he moved out of the way to get there, coming out of turn 3. David Duke finished in second. Benjamin Stevens finished third. Barrett Morton finished fourth. Eddie Smith is your 5th place finisher. 6th belongs to Michael McCarthy. 7th belongs to Chance Taylor. 8th, Cadorian Davis. 9th, Andrew Player. And 10th is Cliff Adams.
Yeah, running out drivers not in the top 2. They got Bobby Germain there. A little bit of a wacky pit strategy. Doesn't work out for him, though. He's going to finish 11th. Courtney Lanford going to finish to his outside or behind him in 12th. Brandon Wallace there in 13th. Charles Abraham, driver on the odd pit strategy. Doesn't work out for him either. He's going to finish 14th. Jacob Lenke does get that lap back from Eddie A. Smith. He's going to finish 15th. Jeremiah Holt there, first driver a lap down. Then 16th, Mark Colford. 17th, Tommy Limley. In 18th, Fender 3 DNFs for the night are going to include George Jewell, Ricky Siska Jr., and then Scott Gilray Jr. running out your 21 drivers here tonight.
And out of those 21 drivers, 4 of them found themselves locked in to the next round of the Final Four. David Duke, Ben Stevens, Chance Taylor, and Michael McCarthy are your 4 drivers that will be chasing that championship next week at Atlanta. But right now, we'll have to get to interviews here at Pocono.
I don't think we actually have an opportunity to speak with Jeremy. Not sure where he's at in the meantime, though. Actually, he is here. We can drag him here. So I will see if we can find him and get him ready for that, Jeremy. Jeremy, get ready to talk to Jeremy.
All right, Jeremy, getting ready to talk to Jeremy. All right, there we go. Jeremy Gardner up here in the Maconi Entertainment broadcast booth in that number 40 Machine Premier Setups truck, coming out here as the victorious man. You and David Duke had a heck of a battle there, coming to the checkered. I mean, you couldn't have really done anything else, man. What was going through your mind through those last few laps, just when you knew you had to get to David Duke?
I know I had a one or two lap extra fresher tires. I was honestly just trying to wait for the top 2 right there, just burn their stuff up. It looked like they were overdriving the corners, so I was just sitting back there for a while, and I just knew with 5 to go, I had to go. So there were 2 to go. I mean, Duke threw some blocks. I mean, I'm all for some blocks, man. I blocked myself. Don't get me wrong. 1, 2, the third one, I don't know about that. I tried to keep my nose clean, 3 right there. I mean, I barely nudged him right there. I mean, it looked like it just barely got him loose and it just snapped. But hate I had to win that way, but I couldn't just let that one go.
You guys were definitely battling hard there. I mean, there was only 1 caution early on, lots of strategies throughout the field, and you knew you had the fresher tires, and you got around David Duke, and he took the checkered flag first. Jeremy, who do you got to thank for getting you here to victory lane here tonight?
Pat and Jamie always at GLR. Appreciate Timothy for helping out with the Sunday series always. Lincoln Tech, Hidwent Brewery, Cruising Classics, Nashie's Restaurant and Bar, the Veterans for Life Foundation, Veterans for Life Racing, INVETS, Jam Printing Promotions. Of course, y'all guys, y'all putting the broadcast on. V-Speed, Nazareth 360, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, Alexander PCs, Sim Motion, Next Level Racing, iRacing. One of my new sponsors above the yellow line, and my guys at Premier Racing Setups. Come check us out. Appreciate y'all putting on a broadcast tonight. That was fun.
Absolutely great racing on the track. Thank you so much for your time, Jeremy. We've got 1 week left, and hopefully we'll see you for 1 more interview.
Yes, sir. We'll see you then.
That was Jeremy Garner, tonight's first place finisher. Brayton Laster is going to be standing by with our second place finisher of David Duke.
Yeah, David Duke, aka Big Dave, there on TikTok. I'm sorry, Big Duke, there on TikTok. Big fan. So you come up just literally
The
half a
man tonight.
straightaway. That's half a straightaway short after a very dominant night and a very dominant playoffs. The good news, you're still locked into the Final Four next week at Atlanta. But what do you have to say about that finish?
P2. Good night. Solid finish.
Were you expecting the bump and run there? You and Jeremy were absolutely going at it, getting a little bit aggressive there to the final couple of laps, getting down to the wire there. Were you expecting the bump and run, or is there anything you could have done to anticipate it?
I mean, I don't know. I was blocking. He had good runs. I was blocking. I don't know. I finished P2. It was a good race. Good finish. Good
Definitely,
night.
definitely a
points
good
night.
race, like you mentioned, or like we mentioned. You're locked in to Atlanta next week, the Final Four. You are technically the highest seed, and the points are going to reset for all of that. But you'll be going against Ben Stevens, Chance Taylor, and Michael McCarthy. How are you feeling about next week for the finale?
Not good at all. I did not realize I have a family vacation scheduled in Helen, Georgia. So, if anybody in the Helen, Georgia area has a rig that I could use next Sunday night, I would love it if you could reach out to me and we could work something out.
What David Duke sound like the guy problem we got to solve. And before we let it go and try to find a solution, anybody want to thank him after the second place finish here tonight?
Great. Thanks for tuning in. I recognize your voice. Damn, that's the pizza man. So glad to have you. Glad to have you on board. But yeah, a lot of people to thank, man. KeithSaysYes.com. My main sponsor there does a lot of things for me. Any new or used car needs that anybody has nationwide, go to KeithSaysYes.com. Mention the Big Duke stream. You're going to save yourself $1,000. Veterans for Life Racing. Everybody over at High Velocity Sim Racing. Everybody here at Goat Locker. Maconi Entertainment. All the guys. You guys put on a hell of a show, and just absolutely honored and thrilled to race with you guys and have you guys call it.
It's an honor to get to talk to you. So hopefully we'll see you next week from Georgia, and best of luck.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one. Thank you.
So David Duke, dominant tonight, and hopefully dominant from not his own sim rig next week.
Man, he's got a long hill to climb there, and as you heard us sales pitch earlier, if anybody there in Georgia has a sim rig he can use, give him a call. And speaking of giving people a call, we've got Benjamin Stevens. Benjamin Stevens, our third place finisher here. Man, you had some great battle there with Jeremy Gardner. What else did you need to have yourself just two more positions there up to the front? That was some great racing.
Well, I'm honestly gonna try to keep my mouth kind of more quiet. I would say we had a great run all night. Was running right up there with Duke till the very end there, and it just wasn't meant to be. I knew it was going to be tough to try to get by Duke anyway because he had the fast truck all night long, and it was. I knew where I could have beaten him. I just didn't get the chance to.
You didn't get the chance to, but you did finish in third. It was a great finish, and you do find yourself locked into the Final Four. What do you have to look forward to at Atlanta heading into next week?
I am looking forward to Atlanta. I do love running at the old Atlanta. It's a blast to run, and I feel like we're going to be able to put on quite the show here, fighting for this championship.
Well, rumor has it one of the dominant drivers, David Duke, potentially does not have a way to race in their race next week. So I'm sure you're pitching that. Hopefully nobody can give him a hand, but you've got yourself set up to be in that Final Four. Thank you so much for being a part of tonight's broadcast. Congratulations on your third place finish. Who do you have to thank for getting you here tonight?
Obviously, I want to thank High Velocity Sim Racing, the team that two other drivers of mine we helped found and all that. And I want to thank Goat Locker for obviously letting us race in this league. And honestly, I want to thank my wife as well because she puts up with my hobby, let's just say. And other than that, thank you guys for the broadcast.
Well, congratulations on your third place finish. We'll see you next week for the championship 4 battle.
Thank you.
And that was your top 3 finishers here tonight, and a couple championship contenders that are getting ready to race at Atlanta next week, December 22nd, 8 p.m. Eastern. INVETS Truck Series right here on Maconi Entertainment. You've got to make sure that you are here to see the champion get crowned. 4 drivers are going to be battling it out. Not just the winner, but whoever finishes in front of the rest of them will take home that champion trophy.
And one of the closest races this season. It's going to come down to the wire, just like it came down tonight. Atlanta fan favorite, talking to Jeremy there. I'm talking to Vincent there. They love the old Atlanta. And Jeremy, I think we're going to have quite the race on our hands next week.
We're going to have quite the race. Some drivers with some bad blood potentially after tonight that could lead into next week and maybe implicate some of their championship hopes. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Excited to be a part of it. We're going to have some great racing. Tonight's racing was great as well. Brayton, any final thoughts?
It just came down there to the wire. David Duke passed, competitive all night, and hopefully competitive next week from Atlanta.
Certainly some great racing here tonight. We had one caution early on and went green flag to the end, and it was a heater. Lots of drivers taking different strategies to maybe find themselves in victory lane, but the only right strategy came out of David Duke's camp, or excuse me, out of Jeremy Gardner's camp, and found himself as tonight's winner. As we get ready to wrap up this broadcast, my name was Jeremy Briggs, and alongside me was Brayton Laster with DJ Loyne doing the producing. Thank you to the Goat Locker crew for having us get them on the air. And thanks to all of you, the viewers, for watching tonight's racing action. We hope that you will stay tuned to all of our social media pages for our next race and any of the races that you may want to see. Thanks to our entire staff for their work in bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We will see you next week for the championship crown race.
We're the outlaws on the asphalt, running wild, we never fall. In the shadows where the strong survive, Gold Locker racing, we come alive. We're brothers and sisters bound by the code. In the heat of the battle, we lighten the load. From the dirt to the track, we stand our ground. With a roar like thunder, we shake the town. We're racing through the fire, burning bright. With the grit of the brave, we fight the night. No chains can hold us, no fear can break. We're GLR for glory's sake. We've got the scars to show where we've been, but we wear them proud like a second skin. For the fallen and the ones who rise, in the name of freedom we ride the skies. From the first green flag to the final lap, we push the limits, no turning back. With the wind at our backs and the sun in our eyes, Gold Locker racing, we'll claim the prize. We're racing through the fire, burning bright. With the grit of the brave, we fight the night. No chains can hold us, no fear can break. We're GLR for glory's sake. In the heart of the storm, we find our way. On the edge of the wild, we won't betray. Every lap, every turn, it's do or die. With the spirit of warriors, we reach for the sky. We're racing through the fire, burning bright. With the grit of the brave, we fight the night. No chains can hold us, no fear can break. We're GLR for glory's sake. rock a race and we make it real. In the dust and the smoke, we carve our name, GLR for glory's sake. Find our way on the edge of the wild, we won't betray. Every lap, every turn, it's do or die. With the spirit of warriors, we reach for the sky. In the heart of the storm, we find our way. On the edge of the wild, we won't betray. Every lap, every turn, it's do or die.